Alabama has one glaring issue that not many are talking about, but we are. We're going to talk about it today. So stick around. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome into Way Offsides. Happy to have you. Thanks for joining me. It is almost Friday. Thanksgiving is coming. Do me a favor, comment your favorite Thanksgiving dish in the comment section. Mine is probably green bean casserole. I absolutely love green bean casserole. Some of you may be like, that's disgusting. Sorry. I'm an honest person, and I'm going to be honest with you. All right, let's talk Alabama football. Everything is still in front of Alabama. They had a loss to give, and they have giveth it to Oklahoma, allowing them right back into the playoff picture. Alabama sits on the threshold at number 10 in the Week 12 college football playoff poll. We'll be talking about that extensively tonight on Thursday during our live at 8 p.m. here on YouTube. So make sure you are locked in. And you could do that easily by just subscribing, man. It's super simple. Like, come on. Just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll be there. And we'll talk Alabama together. We're going to talk Alabama basketball tonight. We're going to talk about football, playoff picture. There's some rumors regarding some assistant coaches, even Kalen DeBoer. We love talking rumors. Keep in mind they're just rumors, but we're going to talk about all of that stuff this evening, and it'll be entertaining. Now, I've gone back trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with this Alabama team. And there are a lot of things. I will say this fundamentally, over the course of the season, every position group has gotten better at these fundamental issues, except for one, and that's the running back room. Even the offensive line looked better against Oklahoma, despite what you probably think. The problem was the running backs. Don't believe me? Go watch the video I just posted earlier today on the channel. And listen to Jam Miller. Jam Miller literally said it himself, and he's absolutely right. However, there's one thing Alabama is struggling with that is really putting them in tough positions when it comes to winning football games. And that, too, can be attributed back to the running backs. Alabama has not had a lot of success their last few games in the second half. In fact, it's so bad that against LSU, they scored a total of 3 points. They had a field goal against Oklahoma. Alabama scored a total of 7. Right. So college football shifted. It's evolved. It's changed. Right. Alabama's not beating people 40-0 anymore unless it's ULM. That's fine and dandy. That's not what Kalen DeBoer does. It's not what he did at Washington. We can stomach that. But the problem is when you have an Alabama team that comes out in the second half and doesn't play clean, does not play a perfect second half of football. If they make mistakes, if you're not scoring and keeping the pressure on, you allow opponents back into the game. We've seen this, and you felt it a couple of times all season. Well, everybody's talked about Alabama's inability to put people away. Well, this is why. Because Alabama offensively is not efficient in the second half. As we, enter into this very, very last leg of the college football season, they're just not. Some of that is scheming. Some of that is, trying to run the ball and kind of take the air out of it. Once you got a lead, some of it is, what I said a second ago. It is something doesn't go Alabama's way and the wheels fall off. Well, that's happening largely in part because if you're up by somebody 14, that feels good, right? That feels really good with 4 or 5 minutes left in the third quarter. But then all of a sudden your offense goes 3 and out. Your defense gives up a ton of yards. They kick a field goal. You're still feeling okay. Offense goes 3 and out again. Defense is back on the field. Defense gets a stop. Offense turns the ball over. That allows opponent right back into the game when you're not scoring. We saw that last year with this Alabama team. Why? Because Alabama can't run the football, their offense is one-dimensional. So defensive coordinators, and these are good defensive coordinators in the SEC, have figured out you stack the box, you rush Ty Simpson, you put more guys than they can handle after the quarterback. They're going to throw it, and you affect the quarterback. That's exactly what Oklahoma did. Now, some of what Oklahoma did was a little exotic, and it really did confuse Ty Simpson. Hats off to Brent Venables and that staff. But still, Alabama's biggest problem is that in the second half of football games, they cannot efficiently score points. They can't. And they've been in several situations where you kind of felt like, if this was 5, 6, 7 years ago, the blood was in the water. And when the blood's in the water, the sharks start circling and then they just attack, right? They put their foot down on the throat and put the game out of reach. And you kind of felt like Alabama's been in spots to do that several times over the season. I think if Alabama doesn't turn the ball over early in the Oklahoma game, they probably find themselves in a position to do it in that game as well. But then something happens, and all of a sudden the other team's right back into it because the offense just goes stagnant in the second half of games because defensive coordinators, guess what they do at the half? They make adjustments. Alabama's offense is not adjusting for some of these things, at least not that I see. Game to game they do, but live adjustments, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Now, there's, again, position groups are playing better and better each week. Alabama's offensive line played really well against Oklahoma's pass rush. It was mostly the running backs that caused the problem, whiffing blocks or getting mowed over, or missing assignments. Alabama can't run the ball for those reasons in the run game. Jam Miller's running the wrong way. It puts so much pressure on this offense to move the ball through the air. And if a couple of things don't go perfect, and Ty Simpson makes one bad read, or a wide receiver drops one ball, or there's a false start, or, all of a sudden the offense stalls out and you allow it's almost like a turnover. You allow the opponent the opportunity to get right back into this thing. If Alabama wants to be a serious national championship contender under Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, it cannot take its foot off the gas. It has to play its best football in the third and fourth quarters of football of games. It has to do what Texas A&M did at home against South Carolina. There, in my eyes, in my mind, there should be a no holds barred, no mercy take in the third and fourth quarter. I don't care if you're up by 21 points. Throw the ball, score the points. Because if you have a 3-turnover fourth quarter, all of a sudden you've given your opponent a chance to win the football game. That is the biggest issue with Alabama football this season. They cannot put opponents away. And it's because the offense is one-dimensional. Alabama's defense has grown into one of the best defenses in the country. Half the time, they're not even doing the bend, don't break thing anymore. The offense, who we keep thinking is going to be the strong suit of this Alabama team under Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, has got to figure it out, man. They've got to figure it out. And I really think it's as easy as going back to fundamentals, getting away from the gimmick stuff, going back to fundamental football, going back to evaluating live game evaluation. Daniel Hill was having some success running the football at Oklahoma, kept getting pulled, and Jam Miller kept getting put back in, and they'd get stuffed or take a loss of yards. Alabama scored one touchdown in the second half against Oklahoma. They scored one field goal in the second half against LSU. And there's numerous other examples of them struggling to score throughout the season in the second half of football games. The Tide should be playing their best football in the third and fourth quarters. If they do that, they'll compete in every single football game. It doesn't matter who they're playing. Hopefully the coaching staff sees it. If I do, I would imagine they do too. So Tell me what you think about everything I've said in the comment section below. Sound off, be loud and proud. We'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee to subscribe and roll Tide.